from the mayor's office with our regular update as things continue to change and evolve in this situation, this public health crisis. Thanks for all your help in steering our city through this. I've got a lot of things I want to bring to your attention today. I almost feel like it's a newscast with all my papers in front of me, but I'll go through it and then we'll continue these updates on a day-to-day basis. A couple things. We put out a release last night with some new announcements, and you should expect these to be regular now. They will be coming out as we respond and adapt and flexibly take a new path forward to deal with the coronavirus, and not just the health impacts, but also the ripple effect of those health impacts on our economy, on people's lives. This is going to be a very big change for all of us in how we communicate, how we work, how we make our way through it. Last night I said a few things in this press release. Number one, we are delaying the collection of the lodger's tax in order to give our large-scale and small hotels and other tourist sites a little reprieve. The tax will be delayed. We still want the tax count to be reported to the city on time so we know what we are delaying. Putting a shutoff, moratorium on water shutoffs. It doesn't mean that the water's free. Again, we're not saying you don't have to pay for the water at some point. We're saying when you're adversely affected by the coronavirus public health emergency and you can't pay your water bill, we're not going to shut you off. Our water utility department will give you a reprieve, but you should contact the water utility to make payment arrangements, find out if there are special subsidies. All of this information, by the way, is on the city's website. It is the best source of information for all of these updates, santafenm.gov. There's a COVID-19 section. You'll see it right at the top of the page. Punch that. It'll take you to all of these announcements and contact information. Santa Fe rides free. No fares for buses going forward. And paratransit and senior transportation service will be free. You need to complete an application and receive an ID number to schedule trips with the Santa Fe ride. But we're trying to, again, respond to the emergency with thoughtful and significant improvements that reduce the health risk while not reducing the service. Parking fees are suspended. So we've put white bags on the downtown parking meters. Parking garages and lots will also be free. We want to avoid that person-to-person contact as much as possible. We're trying to get everybody to limit gatherings to 10 or less, 10 or fewer individuals. That's the recommendation of the Centers for Disease Control. We've been at 100, we've been at 50. Try to keep it to 10 people or fewer. The last thing is that we're prohibiting the eviction of residential and commercial property tenants whose ability to pay has been adversely impacted by this public health emergency. Again, you're not relieved of the responsibility. None of us is relieved of the responsibility to pay our rent, pay our mortgage, pay our bills. But if you find yourself in a situation where you are so taxed out by this experience of the public health emergency that the next place you'll be sleeping is on the street, we don't want that. We want people to stay in shelters and be safe. We are working on the actual legal implementation of that with the city attorney, so stay tuned for more announcements on that front. I also thought I would give some credit to our governor, who continues to be a remarkable leader in a difficult time. Last night, this morning, she issued a letter, and I think it's worth reading most of it, if not all of it, so you hear what she is telling us through this letter. It's addressed to my fellow New Mexicans. As governor and your neighbor, I want to thank you for your cooperation and understanding as we face down the COVID-19 pandemic on multiple fronts and with every tool we have. We've been preparing for this since long before the virus appeared in New Mexico, and I'm confident that by being proactive and with your continued support and cooperation, we will minimize the impact of COVID-19 on New Mexico. Here's how you can support yourself, your neighbors, and your communities. Social distancing is the best tool we have to protect ourselves and the most vulnerable New Mexicans. And my executive orders, the governor says, suspending mass gatherings and temporarily closing public schools will greatly further that goal. So please understand that right now, the bottom line is this: stay home. Leave for only the essentials. Even if you don't feel sick, this is the best way to reduce the risks of spread. So everything she lays out here is exactly spot on. We need to continue to try to interrupt and limit the spread of the virus by staying apart, staying out of public gatherings, staying home, sheltering in place to the extent that we can. If you need to go out on an essential trip, or you begin to develop cabin fever, we have posted on the city's website the list of our local trails. This is a picture of some of the landscape around Santa Fe. As the weather is warmer, there's more sunshine, or even if there's not sunshine, we're scheduled for some rain and maybe even some snow later this week. Going out for a walk, for a hike, using our trails is a great way to get exercise, stay healthy, stay away from crowds, and also take advantage of the beautiful place that we get to call home. In a public health crisis, the outdoors is our friend. It's a place of respite and refuge. So try to go out, enjoy the outdoors. I thought I'd let you know about some of the other things that are coming through as we implement the announcements from yesterday. I got this update from the director of our transit division. We implemented the free fares this morning, negating the need for close contact between boarding passengers and the drivers. That's the point. We're evaluating the pros and cons of rear door entry. Again, since you're not paying to ride the bus, it may make sense to have everybody get on and off through the back door. All transit vehicles, buses and paratransit, are cleaned and are wiped down with disinfectant sprays on frequent touch surfaces and foam disinfectant on the seats every day. Drivers have been informed that disinfectant wipes, hand sanitizer, and protective gloves are available for them to use, and they are allowed to wear surgical masks if they feel that makes them more comfortable. The CDC has said that's not necessarily recommended, but it may make everybody feel safer. So please take a minute, if you are using transit, to thank the drivers. They're under a great deal of stress, as we all are. They have families too. They're worried about their health and well-being. Take a minute and thank them as we adapt to the new situation created by this pandemic. I think as people feel more and more stressed out, it's more and more important to remember that we have to be kind to each other and civil to each other and generous to each other, and say thank you to all of us who are working to do the right thing, whether it's a county employee, city employee, state employee, somebody in a supermarket, or a private business who extends a gesture of courtesy and friendship in tough times. Say thank you. An announcement about municipal court. Effective Wednesday, March 18th at 12 p.m., Santa Fe Municipal Court will be on an abbreviated schedule. We will be closed to the public in order to protect health and safety till April 6, 2020. All hearings constitutionally required will be conducted telephonically or by video. So if you have a citation or summons that required you to be in court while the closure is in effect, you'll receive notice of your new court date by phone and by email. Court-ordered payments can be made online, www.sitepayusa.com, CITEPAYUSA.com. Court-required documentation can be submitted to the following email: CAHAGMAN@santafenm.gov. Please use your contact information and case or citation number. If you want an update, go to the municipal court part of the city's website, santafenm.gov/municipal court. Let's see, fire department. If you are concerned about the well-being of our first responders, the people who are keeping us safe, you should know that the Santa Fe Fire Department first responders are taking extraordinary measures to keep themselves and patients safe during this outbreak of coronavirus. They're doing specialized training on how to handle COVID patients, use of personal protective gear, and the provision of quarantine quarters for potentially exposed personnel. So as usual, fire department, first responders, police are being very, very careful as they go about their business of taking care of us. We need them to stay safe so they can keep us safe. A few other announcements about relief efforts underway. If you feel that you may have the virus, call the Department of Health hotline, 855-600-3453. At the last time I checked, we now have 23 confirmed cases in New Mexico. The thing is, we don't know how many people haven't been tested yet who may have the virus. So social distancing continues to be essential. Stay home if you're sick. Follow the guidelines of washing your hands, sanitizing, keeping 6 feet of distance, not going into crowded places. Our city economic development department has listed help for local businesses impacted by COVID-19 on the city website. That's available. You can click on that link and see what kinds of special loans and other provisions are available for local businesses. Remember to support our local businesses wherever possible, wherever you can. Buy local. Maintain the support of our restaurants with takeout and grab and go. Don't go sit down, but patronize restaurants and other establishments that are local. If they're staying open, they're doing it to help you and also to maintain employment. Try very hard to support them while keeping safe. If you want to make a contribution to help those who are more needy, the Santa Fe Community Foundation has set up a fund where we can all go and make a contribution to help those in need. There are healthy volunteers needed at Food Depot and the Interfaith Shelter, Pete's Place. If you've got a young high school student in your family, in your house, who's looking for something to do that will contribute to the community, working at the Food Depot as a healthy volunteer, or at Pete's Place to help those who are homeless is a great way to make a contribution, particularly if you're young and healthy. We have a list of childcare opportunities, newmexicokids.org. Check it out on the web. And there are food distribution sites for kids, courtesy of the state and the Santa Fe Public Schools. A tremendous shout out to Veronica Garcia, our school superintendent, for the work she and her team are doing to get school kids fed who are used to getting their meals in school. One last thing that we are posting, because it is important to provide education and entertainment for kids in Santa Fe, a list of great activities put together by our public library staff. There are digital resources that can be found at santafelibrary.org/e-resources. Things like PBS Kids 24/7, PBS Kids Games app, Citizen Science Month. Here's one of my favorite, giant list of ideas for being home with kids. So we'll be posting those on a regular basis. and maintaining an updated list of fun things, adding to it every day with great activities for families and kids during this healthcare crisis. Just a little side note for cities. As a member of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, I've already signed a letter put up by the mayors of our country requesting $250 billion in aid from the federal government to flow to our cities, to our communities, to help with the economic, social, and other impacts that will ripple through. The healthcare impacts are first and foremost. We have to cut down on the virus transmittal, stop the spread, flatten the curve. But as we do that, there will be other impacts, unanticipated in some cases, on people's lives, and we want to buffer everyone in our community to the extent possible so that we all come through this healthy, safe, strong, and together. That about wraps it up for today. I will keep you posted on a day-to-day basis as things change. There will be more announcements, I'm confident, coming from the governor. She's on top of this with her team. I've also been talking to the hospitals here in town and to Mayor Keller in Albuquerque so that we continue to work collaboratively to get ourselves all through this happily as best we can, looking after each other, working collaboratively and cooperatively with our resources. One thing I left out, we will be posting. My dear friend Councilor Sig Lindell did some phone work to find out where in Santa Fe in the supermarkets there are special hours set aside for seniors to shop, where seniors can go into supermarkets, particularly if you're feeling more vulnerable. You may be older, you may have a compromised immune system. Some of our supermarkets have set aside shopping hours specially for seniors, and we'll be posting those on the city's website as well. Thanks again for watching. There's a lot to cover every day. This continues to evolve and change. Stay calm, stay together, stay kind to each other, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of our community. We'll all take care of Santa Fe working together. Thank you very much.